So now we're talking about money and and deals. Let's get into the Sean Joel Johnson has conspicuously left out some areas of revenue here, man. And I'm not. Listen, let me tell you. Well, maybe listen. There's other areas. I want to bring this up, man. Okay. Because there's product integration. Are we getting into that money? I was about to say product integration. I was getting into product integration. I'm trying to find the money, man. No, but I was saying product. Come in with what Sean describes as sizzle reel or casting reel. People can get a flavor, but the reality is this, and I think Sean's going to agree. The more you bring to bear on that project, the more you come in the door with, the more leverage you will potentially have in your negotiation. So the less you bring or the less you invest up front, the less leverage and bargaining power you have as you begin to do the deal. Because if you haven't fully thought out the show, fully built out the show, and they're going to do that for you, then they're going to be less inclined to spend and maybe less inclined to buy it. Right? Wouldn't that be fair?
That's absolutely true. Is fully develop your concept and shoot a sizzle and come in, because then you can shop it everywhere. Then you don't have to listen to what a production company's deal. They tell you what their deal terms are.
That's right.
You kind of set your own. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, people will notice it, and all of a sudden you get into competitive bidding. Because everybody wants it. So yeah, the more you develop it, the more leverage you have. That's absolutely true.
And how much are they expecting to spend for this tape? How much does the production company expect to spend? On the low end.
On the low end, it's like be a couple grand.
Okay, so $2,000 on the high end, maybe $5,000.
Yeah.
Okay, and if they were going to produce, if you're pitching something, you should just do a cast. You should have your casting, which is, like I said, you can easily do through your Skype. The Skype interviews.
And then I would do a scene just to show the interactions, because people want to know how they interact, and it doesn't necessarily come through on paper.
Well, here's what.
When a production company is doing a deal, they're only making their fees 10% of whatever their budget is, and the difference between a scripted budget and a non-scripted budget, you're talking a 1.5 million for a scripted comedy, but when you're talking non-scripted, you're talking between 200 to 400,000
per episode.
Yeah.
And then the producer's fee in that is 10%.
So they're not making their money on that. So a lot of these production companies are making money on the post because they own all the equipment. And
hold on, Mayu. Hold on. You just identified where the money is. This is important. You said production companies are making their money on the post. That's where you pad, and that's where you find your margins.
That's not the producer your margins, because there's a standard rate that everybody pays. If I want to go out and I want to get an editor, a good editor easily can be $650, $750 a day. A network's not going to look at that and go, oh my God, because when you're vetting a budget, it's market vettings, But on the other side of it, once you get it through, and you're the production company, you're like, okay, wait a minute, let me buy these equipment, so now I'm not renting these on a week-to-week basis. Let me get this editor in I'm giving them a long-term gig. Let me get them down $500 a day. Let me do this. And all of a sudden, now you start piling up your money, and this is trying to increase your profit margin. A lot of times it's a race, right? Because once you get the show, you have to get your next one, and you never know what's going to happen. So you have to always be in development. One of the big things about having a production company, and I think some production companies are really smart about this, is they have talent development execs in house, because you always have to be looking for that idea, for that person who pops. And it's an ongoing process, because a lot of these reality shows, if they don't hit, they're one and done. They're 2 or 3 seasons and out, and that's not enough to really establish and grow a production company. Which is the artist set a fire. From Babylon we burn the fire.